What's up, YouTube? This is the Lectric 2.0 XP. It's a folding fat tire e-bike from Lectric e-bikes in Phoenix, Arizona. $9.99 online, folds up, goes in your car. I'll give you my full review coming up next on the channel. So as a first generation owner of the electric foldable fat tire e-bike, I jumped at the chance to upgrade my ride. I really wanted a suspension fork to soften those hard bumps, and the other improvements made me pull the trigger on the 2.0. After 10 long weeks of waiting, the new bike is here, and I've had a chance to ride it for a few days now. Lectric now says on their website that shipping times have been reduced to just 4 weeks. So it looks like they're ironing out some of those supply chain problems that they've had, and other e-bike companies have had to deal with as well. The 2.0 XP, which also comes in a step-through version, comes with a 9.6 amp hour battery, which should be good for about 40 miles in the lowest PAS setting. But if you're like me, who rides mainly PAS 2 to 3, you're more likely to see that reduced to about 30 miles-ish in real-world conditions. The original XP came with a 10.4 amp hour battery, so I'm a bit confused as to why Lectric decided to push the new bikes with a slightly smaller version. E-bike companies generally come out with bigger battery options over time, so I have a feeling they were looking to cut costs, especially since the shipping prices have increased dramatically during the global pandemic and the supply chains. The big takeaway for me on the 2.0 is the low profile the bike offers compared to its big brother, the 1.0. The tires went from true 4-inch fat tires to smaller 3-inch versions. When you look at the two bikes side by side, it's clear that the 1.0 can be called a fat tire e-bikes. The 2.0 now looks more of like a regular daily driver. The skinnier tires give it a more pedestrian feel versus the burly original. So if you're a taller person or heavier, I might suggest you look at other fat tire bikes with a 4-inch tire that offers a bigger profile for you. But for those who thought the 4-inch tires seemed intimidating, the new 2.0 seems like it would fit just right. I'm 6 foot tall, I weigh about 175, so I don't mind low new profile, but anybody who's taller and bigger might, so keep that in mind. Lectric says the smaller tires make the bike easier to handle on the road and to fold up. I would agree to that. I took the 1.0 around to many places, had to fold it a lot into my Subaru. It's bulky, but the 2.0 is definitely easier to get in and out of the car and pick up. The new suspension fork is a dream, and the bike handles just as well, if not better, than the original. My forearms took a beating on the 1.0 since the roads in my neighborhood are quite bumpy, but the 2.0 sucks them up, sucks those bumps up, and takes those jolts rather than reverberating throughout my upper body. Lectric also redesigned the bike's paint job, and I really like the new midnight blue, even though they still call it black. It's definitely not a black. It's when you bring it outside, so don't expect a black bike when you get it. It's a deep midnight blue that really does look a lot better than the original paint job, I think. All in all, the 2.0 is a great e-bike for the money. You can certainly get a better e-bike in the $1,500 to $2,000 range, but for an entry-level offering, the Lectric is still among the best products on the market. So the ride on the 2.0 is a much softer ride, of course, because of the front suspension fork, which you can see down there. You know, for me, this is the biggest reason why I upgraded. My forearms take a beating on the 1.0 when you're going over bumps like that. And it definitely wears on you if you're doing any kind of long ride, you know, more than 10 miles, which I typically do 20-25 miles when I ride this bike. You can just see it taking up the bumps. It's even easier to ride with one hand. So that to me is the best aspect of the 2.0. test out the brakes. So that wasn't bad. You know, these aren't squeaking like the new ones are, like the 1.0 did. Maybe I got to break them in first, but so far so good in the brakes. One thing I've noticed is that the lever down here, the folding lever, is kind of loose for some reason. I'm not sure why. And I looked on it, there doesn't appear to be a screw to fix it, so keep an eye on that. I haven't unlocked the bike yet, it's still in Class 2 mode, so I'm gonna hit this school parking lot and try and show you the suspension fork. 22 with throttling once you do unlock the bike. Out of the box it comes 20 miles an hour with throttle only. So there are 5 modes of pedal assist, 1 through 5, and I'm going to show you now what the speed is for each of those pedal assists when you do use the bike. So here we go. So I'm in pedal assist 1, and I believe it's going to be around 8 miles an hour. So we just hit 8. So this is a real leisurely pace. I mean, most people can go 7 miles an hour pretty easily on any bike, let alone the bike. But I can feel the pedal assist kick in a little bit. We hit 9 there because we went downhill. But yeah, right around 8 miles an hour is your pedal assist 1. Let's kick it up to 2. $11. So yeah, it looks like right around 11. Back down to 10. Kick it up to 3. We're now at 15, 16. Let's go on a flat and just see. Yeah, about 15, maybe 16. Pedal assist 4. Dead stop. $13, $14, $15, $16, $17, $18, $19, $20. So, yeah, pedal assist 4 is definitely kicked up a notch since the first version. I thought it was more like around 17, 18. We just did, you know, the full 20. So, really, with 5, you know, you probably don't even need 5 anymore. If you've got 1 to 4, with 4 being 20. Let's see if we can hit pedal assist 5 and see what that gets us. This is slightly uphill too, so. We're at 16. All right, come on top of the hill. There's the flat ground. 17, 18, 19, 20. So yeah, there seems to be no difference between 4 and 5 in terms of pedal assist as you go on this bike. Going uphill right now, doing 16 and pedal assist 5, 15, 14, gotta pedal a little harder, 13. So going up hills, it's great. You still have to work at it, but it will assist you a lot. And you can do 12, 13, 14, 15 miles an hour up small hills pretty easily. Alright, so I'm going downhill here. It's handling pretty well. Doing some in and outs, some weaving here, and just as good as the 4-inch fat tires. That suspension fork is sucking up those bumps. There we go. I want to talk about the cadence sensor on this, because in the 1.0 you were doing a lot of freewheeling, particularly at the higher speeds. But with the 2.0 you are not. So I think they've adjusted the software in here to give you more resistance when pedaling. You know, I bought a freewheel in anticipation of putting a new freewheel on here, a bigger freewheel, so you avoid that ghost pedaling at higher speeds. But I don't think I need to add it, because even in pedal assist 4, which I'm going into now, I'm not pedaling as fast as I used to have to pedal on the 1.0. I've got resistance, even at 20 miles an hour. I'm pedaling quickly, but not as quick as I had to on the 1.0. So thumbs up there from Lectric. They really improved the cadence sensor on this. I don't know how they did it. Maybe it's a software switch, but whatever you did, I don't think I need a new freewheel. I have pedal assistance. I have resistance right now as I'm pedaling at 18 miles an hour. So. I'm surprised the brakes haven't started squeaking yet. Maybe I haven't broken them enough. You know, I was watching Jeremiah McIntosh's video review of the 2.0, and one question he has was, can you still call this a fat tire bike? And I thought about that. And I'm going to say no, Jeremiah. I don't think you can. I think these tires are too skinny to be called a fat tire bike. I think fat tire equals 4-inch tires, in my opinion. They're just beefier. You have a higher profile on the bike with those, and you know, I think especially guys like those big beefy tires. To me, this 2.0 is much more of a kind of a daily driver now, as I'm thinking about it, right? What I might do is buy a 4-inch fat tire with full suspension, just to take like off-road. I had planned on doing some off-road stuff with this, but you know, I don't know if it's not really meant for that, right? It's definitely much more of a daily driver, even commuter type bike now, I think, with these smaller tires. This parking lot has some good bumps here, so you can see how the bike does in that. Let's go up on the hill up here. Church parking lot. It's usually empty. It is. I'll have to come here and do just tool around. Got a little ramp over here going on. Yeah. Boom. So yeah, kudos on the cadence sensor and the suspension fork. I mean, this is the big reason I got this bike, was the suspension fork. I just had to have this to again, protect my forearms from all that jolting, and yeah, so far so good. The locking mechanism is down here. If you turn it to the open position, that's all the way, full. That's full suspension. You can kind of see it down there, and you can lock it out as well. I do have my suspension seat post on and my Cloud9 seat. You definitely want to change the seat out from the electric stock because it is hard. Go with a Cloud9 or a Bike Roo or something with gel padding is my recommendation there. And seat post wise, I wasn't a fan of the electric suspension seat post. Just didn't do much for me. So I went out and I bought basically the most expensive suspension seat post you can get, which is the Kinect, K-I-N-E-K-T. It's $250, but it's well worth it in my opinion. I'll give you a quick peek of that from my GoPro. So here's the Cloud9, of course, and here's the Kinect suspension seat post. You can see how it moves, and it really sucks up those bumps from the rear of the bike when you are riding. So between this and the suspension fork, the bike has plenty of give now, in my opinion. And you can't beat the looks. It's one of the best looking folding e-bikes on the market, and I definitely love the new color. Now, right now it looks black. I know it's a midnight blue technically. So yeah, it'll appear black at times. Right now it's in the sun, and that's a full view of the bike. Got the Rock Brothers bag in the back. I will do a full accessory video once I have everything on the bike. When I first got the bike and I put it up against my 1.0, just side by side looking at them, I was kind of shocked how smaller it seemed. Even though when you measure it, it's really only another inch and a half lower than the 1.0. But I thought the tires, even though they're 3 inches wide, I thought they would be the same height, but they're not. They're a lower height, and so I was expecting them to have the same height, but just be thinner in that case. And yeah, you saw my previous video. I did I measured the rack, the height of the back rack, and you saw the difference there. I think it was about 1.5 inches. So that's kind of what you're looking at, that's why it seems like a lower profile is the tires, and it just sits lower onto the ground. And again, for smaller riders, people who are kind of intimidated by the 4-inch fat tire bikes, this is the perfect bike for you, I believe. I'm 6 foot, so I'm kind of right on the edge of that. For taller, heavier riders, you probably want to look at more of a 4-inch fat tire bike. And that's just my opinion. Yours may vary, but with the lower profile and the thinner tires, it doesn't look as beefy, and so I do think taller, heavier riders will opt for those taller, fatter tire bikes. Things like the Walkie, the Friend looks pretty cool, and even like the Aviton Cinch, which is 4 inches as well. So yeah, I guess that's about it for this video. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you want to know about the bike that I haven't talked about yet, and I'll certainly answer your questions on the comments stream there on YouTube. And yeah, just shout out to all my new subscribers. Appreciate you guys hitting up the channel. Tell your friends who are into e-bikes to check it out, and I will see you on the road.